Welcome. Today our Rome Civilization project will present the location, economy, politics, social classes, contributions, periods, rulers, architecture, agriculture, livestock, boom. Now below you have our videos. Thank you.
Location. Ancient Rome is located in the present-day Italy, in the ancient European continent, in the valley of the Seven Hills near to the river Tiber, in the important Italian peninsula battered by the Mediterranean Sea, and sea that was the protagonist and witness of the emergence of several ancient and contemporary cultures. The proximity of the city to this river allows to obtain water for the development of different agricultural and livestock activities, especially sheep. It is said to have been founded the middle of the 18th century before Christ. The main characteristics of the Roman civilization. The main characteristics of the Roman civilizations are the following. Number 1. It emerged in the 18th century before Christ from a village of Latin farmers and shepherds localities on the banks of the Tiber River. Number 2. Its main cultural influence were in the neighbors, the Etruscans and the Greeks who inhabited the colonies in southern Italy. Number 3. Its territorial expansion took place in the three stages between the year 4058 and 265 after Christ. The Romans conquered the Italian peninsula between 274 and 146 after Christ. They conquered the territories around the western Mediterranean, and from the 2nd century after Christ spread over the Macedonian kingdoms. Number 4. They stood out of their great military power, thanks to which they were able to maintain the conquered territories for several centuries. Number 5. The conquered regions were integrated into the Roman Empire as provinces in the way cultural trends spread, including the Latin language that was the basis of most modern European languages. Number 6. The set of rules that constitute Roman law had a great influence on modern societies and are the basis of Western law. Number 7. Many of the customs of today's Western societies derive from Roman culture. Thanks. The religion of the ancient Rome. Roman religion changed throughout history and it was influenced by the territories it conquered. The Romans were polytheists, that is, they believed in more than one god. The original religion was animism, their belief in spirits that inability and all things. During the monarchical period, their most important gods were Jupiter, the most important of the pantheon, Quirinus, god of government, and Mars, god of war. They were called the Capitoline triad, and they were venerated on the Capitoline Hill in the city of Rome. From the Greek influence, the Roman religion incorporated the Greek gods, superposing some of the or the near previous divinity. During the imperial period, the emperors were also defeated. Christianity was another of the Eastern religions that spread through the empire after the conquest of Judea. In the year 318 before Christ, Christianity became the official religion of Rome by decree of Emperor Theodosius. Como ya se dijo, los romanos tenían una religión politeísta en la cual creían en varios dioses. Por ejemplo, Júpiter, este era rey de los demás dioses, sus atributos eran el rayo y el centro. Juno, esposa de Júpiter, diosa del matrimonio y la familia. Minerva, hija de Júpiter, diosa de la sabiduría y patrona de los artesanos. Vulcano, dios asociado con el fuego y las actividades relacionadas con la herrería. Diana, diosa de los bosques y caza de animales. Febo, dios conductor del disco solar, estaba asociado también a la poesía y la música. Venus, diosa del amor. Tenemos también a Plutón, dios del inframundo y los muertos. Neptuno, dios del mar y el océano. Marte, dios de la guerra. Mercurio, dios del comercio. Y Baco, dios del vino de las fiestas.
Good morning, students. Today, my group formed by Martin Ruiz, Nicolas Vázquez, and me, Julian Segarra, we will talking about the Roman civilization, one of the most important in human history for its history, intelligence, and its very important contributions. They helped us with ideas, contributions, and making important structures that we use until today. So, my group will talk about the 10 most important contributions of the Roman civilization. The bridge is a construction that allows to save a geographical feature such as a river, a canyon, a valley, or a body of water. They play a key role in the connectivity of the regions as they are responsible for shortening distance, reducing travel times, and reducing operation costs in the transport of people and food. The Julian calendar introduced to a regular year of 365 days over 12 months, with a leap day introducing between February 23 and 24 every 4 years. Construction and maintenance of highways is strategic for the development and growth of the country that wants to grow its domestic and foreign trades. The Roman numeration is a numbering system that was developed in ancient Rome and was used throughout the Roman Empire, remaining in use after its demise and still used in some areas. This system used some capital letters as symbols to represent certain values. Concrete is a mixture of stones, sand, water, and cement, which, when solidified, is one of the most resistant construction materials used to make foundations, walls, and structures. A basilica is a church that stands out for its size, history, or other special features. A newspaper is a document that presents in chronological order a certain amount of information and comments of events that have occurred or are foreseeable during a given period. Law is a set of principles and rules generally inspired by ideas of justice and order, which regulate human relations in a society. Are used to make decisions about how to design public space, how best to use resources, and how to deliver private and public services more efficiently and effectively. A sewer is a conduit through which water is eliminated, whose origin is due to domestic, industrial, or commercial activities, which can also come from rainfall, whose final destination is a reserving bodies so as not to affect the population. Thank you for watching the video. These were the 10 most important contributions of Rome, which serve us until today. I hope you liked the video, dear students. See you the next time. Bye!
The public accounts of ancient Rome were financed with many together direction taxes, with taxes ranging between 5% and 10% of income. And tonight, it's true that there were also indirect taxes on indirect taxes, sales, gladiator games, and the importation of luxury goods, like whisk, the gold, silver, and copper. Mines were also an important source of income for Rome.
Hi, my name is Emilio Tenesaca, and I will tell you what were the two most important periods of Roman civilization. As a small introduction, as they were these periods, the boom was the massive expansion of the population. That is to say, there were as increase of inhabitants, and then follows the fall, which in when the empire loses the minds of splits into to form numerous political entities. Below I will say more information about each of these. Roman boom or boom, in full expansion of the slave mode of production and all the expressions of classical civilization under the system of government called as established by Octavian Augustus at the end of the 1st century BC. The progressive extension of Roman citizenships by the provinces, as they were Romanist provincial families to the highest honor and social ranks, to the same imperial dignity. The transformation was suffered by the entire basin of the Mediterranean, but with notable difference in the western and eastern half influence continue and even depend after reaching the empire its maximum territorial dimensions at the time of the Antoine's 2nd century. The crisis of the 3rd century opened a period of decline. The Allies used to speak of the Lower Roman Empire, with other economic and social conditions, the transitions from slavery to feudalism, and even with another system of government, the dominate. Fall of the Roman Empire. Odoacer, king of the Herculean, overturns the last emperor of Rome, Romulus Augustulus of September 476. This fact marks the end of the Roman Empire. The Western Empire disappears, while the Eastern Byzantine Empire survives until the fall of Constantinople in 1045. Traditionally, according to the criteria of 18th century historian Edward Gibbon, this fact is linked to the year 476 ADC, coinciding with the depositions of the last Western Roman emperor, Romulus Augustus. The hands of Odoacer thought it was the result of a long process that had others, many significant milestones. We must begin by highlighting the forces that had allowed the Roman Empire to exercise effective control over the West. Modern historians mention factors including army effectiveness and size, health, and population size. Roman the strength of the economy, capacity, competition of the emperors, the internal struggles for power, the religious change of the period, and the efficiency of civil administration. The increase is pursued from the barbarians external to the Roman culture contribute related to the collapse.
Okay, this is my presentation. The Roman architecture. The Roman architecture is a function of traditional Greek and Etruscan elements where arches and horizontal beams were supported by columns. Later, the three-dimensional counterpart of the arch was introduced, namely the dome. Apart from this, Roman architects found their inspiration in Greek architecture in general. The basic building materials of Roman architecture are stones deployed on concrete and very expensive marble. The idea behind the mosaic, a decoration of colorful stone shavings inserted in cement, was brought from Greece. Roman houses enjoyed a famous decorative wall floors, what and groutes with geometric and pictorial designs. The Roman Colosseum is the best in the world, which is more correctly named and after the Flavian dynasty that built it. The Pantheon is a building in Rome, which was originally built as a temple for seven deities of seven planets of Roman state religion. Science of 7th century has been a Christian church. The Colosseum and the Pantheon are some of buildings built during this period. The Roman contribution to the architecture of modern world is the development of concrete of construction purpose, and the other contribution is the style of architecture of the empire that can still throughout Europe and North America in the arches and domes of many government and religious buildings. Okay, this next theme is Roman emperors. The Roman emperors at the time of the Roman Empire, there were many influential people of whom you have surely heard of such as Julius Caesar or Neron. They are characters that have become part of history for various reasons. Let's briefly analyze each of them. Tiberio. Tiberio, when we has born an astrologer predicate that fate will beyond insight. He is known to have been emperor during time in which Jesus of Nazareth was executed cross. Julio Caesar. Julio Caesar, he is considered of the most influential and important emperors in science. He reigned as autocrat during more than 40 years and ended a century of civil wars in Rome. Julio Caesar was reigned in an era of peace and pro- prosperity.
Hello, let me introduce myself. I am Julio Regalado. I'm going to talk to you about agriculture and livestock. Agriculture. Agriculture was the base of the Roman economy. Since they introduced techniques such as the way of the plow and the irrigation systems. The main crops were cereals and legumes. Later, the vine was introduced, and even later, the vineyards came and the olive tree was imported. As fruit trees, the fig tree stands out. The cultivation of vegetables, legumes, and flowers was also important. Livestock. Livestock was a vitally important position in Roman society, and earning owners different among owners who owned more than one type of livestock. Type of livestock. Livestock sheep. They were used for meat and wool. Livestock pig. They were used for meat. Livestock goat. They were used to obtain milk. Livestock kine. They were used to pull plows and chariots and for warfare. Poultry farming. All kinds of birds were raised: dogs, chickens, geese, geese, etc. Cuniculture. They were used for meat. Viking pig. They were used to obtain wax and honey.